I made a video yesterday talking about the rumor, and I did specifically say it was only a rumor, that George Groves was going to be fighting Fedor Chudinov for the WBA super middleweight world title. Well, that rumor has turned out to be untrue because it was shortly after announced George Groves was actually going to be fighting a guy called Eduard Gutknecht. And I'm sure I'm butchering that name, but that's the best I can do. He is a German fighter who normally campaigns at light heavyweight. I have to confess, I've never actually seen him fight. And before this fight was announced, I'd never even heard of him before. I have subsequently looked at his box rec. He's fought Jürgen Bremer a couple of times. He's fought Dmitry Sokotsky, if memory serves me correct, and a few other people. But he's come up short every time he's stepped up in competition. His claim to fame, I guess people would say, is that he beat Gennady Golovkin in the amateurs. He is from Kazakhstan, like Golovkin, but bases himself in Germany rather than the United States, where Golovkin bases himself now. He is described by the Sauerlands as a bigger version of Martin Murray. And Murray, he lost to Groves comprehensively, but he made Groves work. He didn't make it easy in there for him. So if this guy really is a bigger version of Martin Murray, stronger, then Groves might find himself in some difficulties. I haven't seen the guy fight. I'm going to have to go watch some video of him before I make any type of prediction or any real in-depth analysis about how I think the fight is going to go. So you'll have to wait for that. But for now, it's, I guess, a stay busy fight for George Groves of sorts, or maybe a ranking fight. I don't know if this is going to get him ranked anywhere higher. To me, it just seems like a stay busy fight, but a fairly tough customer that he's up against. And the fight will be on Channel 5 in the UK, which is interesting, actually. George Groves has primarily been fighting on Sky on Eddie Hearn shows. So for him to be fighting on Channel 5, that is intriguing. So perhaps the Sauerlands are making inroads into the UK broadcast market themselves. Because they previously, as I say, been working through working with Eddie Hearn on Sky Sports and putting their fighters on there. But to have one of their fighters on Channel 5, maybe the Sauerlands are looking to encroach on Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren and all the other British promoters' patch. We shall see. I think it will be good if they do, and if they start putting fights on Channel 5. I think that's definitely a good thing. See, people seem to get it twisted with me. They think that it's, for me, I'm some type of Al Heyman fanboy. No, I am a fan of fights being on terrestrial television. Fights being available to watch for free. So whether it's Al Heyman, whether it's Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, or in this case, the Sauerlands, or Mick Hennessy, whoever it is, if they're putting fights on free television, I am all for it, and I will clap my hands and applaud it. So big up to the Sauerlands, if it is indeed them putting on this show. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, this is the information that I've got. Maybe it's not the case. Maybe it's going to be Groves fighting on the show of a different promoter who's organizing this situation with Channel 5. But as far as I'm aware, it's the Sauerlands, so they need to be applauded for this, and long may it continue. If you do know more about Gutknecht than me, Gutknecht, however you pronounce that name, if you know more about him than me, then please enlighten me and others who are not too familiar with him in the comment section below, because, as I say, I'm going to have to do my research on the guy. How do you see the fight going? You think Groves is going to have any trouble? I mean, the fact that this guy has lost every time he's stepped up in competition, at least on paper, you would think that that's a good sign that Groves should win this fight without too many issues. But you never know. The one thing about George Groves, and the one thing that makes him interesting actually, is his vulnerability. There is this vulnerability all the time in George Groves fights. There's this feeling that he's never quite safe. And that's what makes him exciting. So yeah, let me know how you feel about this, people. It's your boy Hatman. And oh yeah, by the way, some people are saying that the Chudinov fight will happen, but it won't happen until the early part of 2017. He has to get past Gutknecht first, and then he'll fight Chudinov. And in fact, George Groves was talking in an IFL TV interview, which I saw earlier on today, and he was saying that if Felix Sturm had been stripped of the title, then the title would have gone back to Chudinov, and he would have been able to fight, as in Groves would have been able to fight Chudinov straight away. But because Sturm has given up the belt rather than be stripped, it makes the process a little more lengthy with the WBA, basically. So that's the reason that George Groves gave for not fighting Fedor Chudinov straight away for the WBA belt, because of the fact that Sturm is actually vacated rather than get stripped. So yeah, anyway, let me stop waffling. Drop your comments below. It's your boy Hatman, I'm out.